As a celebration of hitting 300,000 followers on TikTok, today I'm going to be doing a 2024 reptile room tour. Now, the Hognose snakes make up more than 50% of my collection, so I'm going to go ahead and save those for last. So let's go ahead and get into the reptile room tour. This is Coco. This is my normal ball python. She had been passed around from home to home about 3 different times before I finally got her. She is an absolute sweetheart, so I think she would be a great program animal. This is Hazel. He is my lesser ball python. This was the first ball python I got. I got him from a reptile show. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be using him for programs in the future as well as Coco, but he is a little more flighty and he doesn't really like to be handled. So for now, he is just a pet. Buddy, come back. It's okay. This psychopath right here is my Honduran milk snake. He or she was a rescue. As you can see, she's very fat and hates people. She absolutely despises me. And surprisingly enough, she will not eat. She's a very thick girl. She's very plumpy, but she will not eat for me. This is Charquise. She is my Nelson's milk snake. I'm pretty sure she is a female, but I'm not the best with sexing milk snakes. I plan to use this girl in programs when she is bigger and calmer, but for now she is just a crazy little milk snake. Right here is my leucistic Texas rat snake. This boy right here is Opal, otherwise known as Crackhead. He was originally in a 40-gallon, but he injured his eye somehow and he's now blind, so I had to move him back to tubs because I don't want him to lose track of where he is or his water or anything. Right here is my trio of scaleless Texas rat snakes, but because they are siblings, I'm either planning on selling this boy for another boy or just getting another unrelated trio. Right here is Mr. Mackie. This is the boy. He has some really nice fiery salmon colored reds. They're much more pink compared to what the camera is showing right now, but yeah, this is the boy. Oh. This is Ursula. She's currently in shed, but this is one of my females. But yeah, she looks a little odd because she's in shed. She normally has some very beautiful red colors and salmon colors. She looks so weird. She's so wrinkly. Oh my goodness. And right here is Meg Griffin. And now she was originally the only one I was going to get, but the breeder had these other two, so I did end up getting them as well. She is my favorite, honestly. She's the best example of a scaleless Texas rat snake. So hopefully I can find her a nice unrelated boyfriend. And this cage right here is my female BCI. This is Tuna. She is a jungle het for albino and 50% het for axanthic, but I do not plan on breeding her. I plan on using her in programs like my other animals. And this tank right here is Herschel. She is my female Florida king snake. She is currently in shed, so her colors aren't as pretty as they normally are. I don't really have the urge to breed normal Florida king snakes. But she is a very well-behaved king snake, so I think she would make a really great program animal. And this second tank up here is Amaranth, my lavender albino Florida king snake. Now, yes, this is a deer skull, but she's in it. She has shoved herself in the deer skull. I don't want to break this to get her out because she seems to be enjoying herself, so once she comes out, I'm going to plug up that hole, but I'll include a picture of her. I got Amaranth when I got Stud. I got them both from a rescue in California. And I do plan on getting Amaranth a boyfriend because she is a very beautiful king snake. She is a lavender albino, I believe. I don't think she is just a regular albino because she has these beautiful purples to her. But the only way to figure out what she is to get her a boyfriend that is either het for albino or het for lavender albino. Breed them together, and if we get visuals, then that is what she is. Now, in this third enclosure right here is Shane. Shane is my Baltic blood python. She is absolutely beautiful. The camera does not pick up these beautiful fiery reds that she has. Now, I do plan on using Shane in programs. She is a pretty calm blood python as of right now, but I'm assuming it's going to take at least a few more years to get her really settled into being held. But assuming I can get her to calm down and be okay with being held by people and kids, she would be a beautiful addition to my programs. Now, for the last enclosure on this shelf, I'm actually going to be getting an entirely new species of animal for this enclosure. I'm going to be getting a tokay gecko. This will only fit like a baby tokay gecko, so as it grows, I'm going to have to get a bigger enclosure, like a 40-gallon. And of course, down here we have Stan. Stan is my common snapping turtle. She always goes viral on TikTok and Instagram when I post her, and she is truly a little sweetheart. Yes, little baby. He's just so sweet. I'm just joking. She would absolutely bite me if she got the chance. Now, I always get questions when I post Stan. The biggest one being, why do I have a pet snapping turtle? Why didn't I choose a different species of turtle? Well, I didn't want Stan. I didn't wake up one day and just think, I want a pet snapping turtle. That's not what happened at all. I actually know the person that originally had her. They took her from the wild as a little itty bitty baby. They kept her in a 10-gallon with like that much water. They were feeding her bloodworms once every week, I think. But it really just wasn't the best situation for her. She had some pretty bad shell deformities right here that she still has and will probably have forever. Thankfully, she is not stunted. She also had some kind of a bladder or stomach infection. She couldn't go to the bottom of the water. She was kind of stuck just pivoting on top of the water. And she could not hold her breath for very long because she didn't have to with this much of water. But in the 2 years I've had her, she is growing very quickly. And so right now she is in a 4x2x2, and as you can see, this is pretty good for her for right now. She normally does have a filter in here, but she is actually eating it. She's tearing it to shreds, so I just took it away from her. But yes, she is just a very pretty little girl. Hello, Cyan. Just a pretty girl. This is Hannah. She is one of my female Western Hognose. She is in deep blue and she is not happy at all. She is just a condomorph, but she has this really nice striping pattern which kind of affected her babies, which you will see later in this video. She did have babies this year and it really drained a lot of her energy, so she's not going to be bred next year if she does not recover this weight back. This is Pip. She is my albino Western Hognose, and this was my first snake. This is the girl that started it all. She was an insanely picky snake to get to grow up. I had to go and hand catch salamanders. Literal salamanders for like 2 years straight, but after she laid her first clutch of eggs, something just clicked, and now she is a ferocious eater, which I'm very happy about because she's a very pretty girl. And here somewhere is Tude. She is a Superconda Het Snow Western Hognose, and you will see why her name is Tude in a minute here. Oh, okay. So I got this girl not too long ago. I got her as an adult. She was a trade for some of my babies. So hopefully next year after I get her fattened up just a little bit more, I can make some nice pretty babies with her. This is Bob. In my opinion, she is my prettiest Western Hognose. I produced this girl last year in 2023. She was the first baby Hognose I ever produced. If you don't know her origin, on my TikTok, basically what happened is I picked one egg out of Pip's clutch and I kept it and deemed it Bob. This was that baby. Now here she is a year later. She is growing very quickly and I can't wait for her to have some babies. This right here is my Xanthic Het Sable male Western Hognose, and I'm getting this boy a girlfriend to hopefully make some storm clouds next year. But she is not here yet, so her unboxing video will be out on my TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, so go check that out. This right here is Squeak. He was my second snake. He is also the father to Bob. This boy right here is an Arctic Conda Het 4 Xanthic, and he is also a twin spot, which basically is a polygenic trait that makes all of their little spots separate and not connected on the middle. We made some very pretty babies this year, which you will see again later in this video. This little boy right here is Garf. He is an Arctic Super Conda, 100% Het 4 Lavender and 50% Het 4 Coral, which is albino and lavender combined. So that means that next year when my females are ready to breed and they've all been through brumation, I'm going to pair this guy up with Pip, my albino Western Hognose. And if we see some albino babies, that means he is Het for albino, and this little boy can make some And this little boy can make some corals. This little girl is Chunk. She is an RBE Pastel Conda, Het 4 Sable, 66% Het for albino, and 50% Het for toffee belly. Now, I mainly got this girl because she is an RBE Pastel and she carries the Sable gene, and I really want to make some RBE Pastel Sable Super Condas. I really like the look of the Sable Super Conda, and I want to see what the RBE Pastel gene will kind of do to it. This little boy right here is named Curd Maker. This is my, oh, buddy! This is my 100% Het Leucistic, 50% Het Pink Pastel Albino. Of course, I got this guy because he is Het Leucistic, and I plan to get him a girlfriend so I can make some Leucistic Hognose snakes. But I currently don't have $1,000 to spare, so go to my Patreon. And here is Little Man. He is just a normal Conda Western Hognose, but he has some really nice reds on the underside of his belly. Now normally a Conda will have nice white walls along their black belly, so my plan with this boy is once he's big enough to breed him to my other Conda Hognose, Henna, the girl with the nice stripe on her belly, and hopefully they will make some very pretty red babies with some striping pattern. This little baby right here is Freeway. She is an Arctic Conda, 50% het for Axanthic. This is one of my holdbacks from this year's breeding season, and she is absolutely stunning. I am just in love with this striping pattern. This is one of Henna's babies. This right here is Chia. She is Freeway's sister. She also has some pretty nice little striping pattern, and I can't exactly tell if she is an Arctic or not, but she is definitely a Conda, and she is 50% het for Axanthic. I am leaning towards that she is Arctic because those little stripes right there have a nice outline, and she does have some pretty clean backgrounds, but the best way to find out if she is an Arctic is to just wait until she starts having some growth sheds and look at the progress she has made in color. And this is the last Hognose and the last of my holdbacks from this year. This is Henna number 2. She is a Conda, 50% het for Axanthic. And the reason I kept her is because she looks exactly like her mother did when she was a baby. But none of her babies got the stripe on their bellies, which was kind of disappointing. And right here we have the last clutch of Hognose for the 2024 season. The parents of these guys are Pip and Sir Snake, so an albino to an Axanthic het for Sable. So all of these guys will be normals, and they will be 100% het for Snow, which is albino and Axanthic, and they will be 50% het for Sable. So yeah, I'm really excited for these guys to hatch. They are about 10 days away from hatching, so stay tuned. I will be posting their egg cutting video on this YouTube channel, so if you want to see that, yeah, stay tuned. Now onto this enclosure right here. There's nothing in it currently, and that is because I am getting a new species of snake for it. I've already picked out the snake, but it's not here yet. For this enclosure, I'm getting a false water cobra. Yes, it's a whole new species. It's one of my dream snakes. Now, false water cobras are a pretty humid-loving species, and as you can see, I am using aspen bedding. Now, I'm going to experiment with it. I found a lot of controversial opinions on it. But my theory is that they like humidity, and humidity doesn't always have to come from the bedding itself. And I have a snapping turtle in this room with water constantly evaporating. This room is pretty humid in here, so I'm assuming she's going to be just fine. But if I do see it soaking in its water dish for an extended period of time, or it starts to have shedding problems, I will switch the bedding out. This is just an experiment. And onto these two enclosures. These two animals are not mine. This is a leopard gecko, that is a bearded dragon. They are going to be moving out, so I can in place put a 6-foot long enclosure here. Depending on who grows quicker, it's either going to be for my boa or the false water cobra, or I doubt it will be Shane, but it could also be for Shane. And at that point, assuming that the boa goes in there first, the false water cobra will go into this enclosure because it does have more width to it and depth to it, and then Shane will go into this enclosure. I will probably then find Amaranth a boyfriend, and he will move into this enclosure, so it will just be King Snake's Tokay Gecko. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, as well as go and check out my other channels on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. I post daily videos over there, so there's a whole lot more content to go and enjoy. And if you want to help support my channel, go and check out my Patreon.